Hey guys, Alex Radcliffe with Board Game Co., and today we're taking a look at Hell of the Last Saga. Hell of the Last Saga is by Mythic Games. It is their newest Kickstarter. They have been hyping this thing for months, and it is doing phenomenally well so far compared to their last one, Steam Watchers, which struggled along for a bit, eventually, making its way past 3K, 300K. But Hell of the Last Saga, 2 days in, or a day in, they're nearly at 600K, and it looks like it's on track to hit a million, if not more. Now, what do I think? What's my opinion? What am I backing it? Am I not backing it? Why not? Well, let's go straight into it. So starting off, I'm going to start scrolling through the page. At a glance, let's focus on the first thing first, which is the pledge level. The pledge level is coming in at $129, and that is their all-in pledge. It's $129. There are no add-ons. There's no gameplay add-ons. Supposedly they said they're going to be just doing both in terms of stretch goals and in terms of add-ons. They are doing not gameplay but rather enhancements. So a token might become a miniature, or bunches of tokens might become miniatures. They have here. Let's scroll through it and we'll take a look. So if you scroll down to their stretch goals, you can see over here, one at a time, they're slowly expanding everything into miniatures. A campfire token becomes a fire miniature. They're adding a bunch of bags. The wood become wood miniature. They are adding alternate sculpts. Now, by the way, alternate sculpts, lots of people like them. On a personal note, I happen to not like alternate sculpts as much. I find that it does depend on the game, but I find that in games where they have a lot going on, they'll have a lot of miniatures, it's hard enough to track all the different miniature types without having to worry about fairly different alternate sculpts. And that's the key thing. Alternate sculpts, Zombicide is actually a game that does it fairly well, where they have alternate sculpts, but they're so clearly the same. There's nothing to worry about. Versus in this game and many others, if you look over here, you can see these alternate sculpts over here. They're different enough. They could be two different unit types. Blood Rage has the same problem. Blood Rage they have mystics, and they have two warrior sculpts. So it kind of can be confusing at times. And when alternate sculpts are different enough that they could be different units, I personally am not a fan. I love miniatures, I love all the minis in the world, but to me, it's gameplay is king, gameplay above all else, and then all the fluff in the minis after. That little that little opinion aside, alternate sculpts are generally liked by many people, so this is a plus. It does provide variety to the game. We have more tokens being turned into the cardboard spawn tokens, the cardboard food tokens, the survivor tokens. As you can see so far, at 400, or where is it? We're at nearly 500,000 in, or 500, whatever it is, where we don't actually have anything yet that is a gameplay add-on, and supposedly they're not going to. Now, I'm torn on that one because I feel like it is a plus, but it's only a plus because it's a minus. Now, what I mean by that is I like all the extras in these big, heavy Kickstarters. When you have all the gameplay add-ons, again, I know stretch goals are just a game people play, but I like all the extras on it. I like the optional buys. I like the stretch goals that are expansion characters, expansion monsters, expansion whatever. I appreciate it and I enjoy it. In Mythic's case, because they have had a track record, unfortunately, of not getting it right. They simply have a track record of not getting their rules streamlined, the number of miniatures going, not miniatures, the rules streamlined, the interactions with various extras. They have a bad track record of delivering a Kickstarter that does it right the first time. They have incredible gameplay worlds going on here, but the level to which they are or aren't doing it or delivering it on the first time, it's just not happening, unfortunately. So in this case, I think it's a plus that they are not giving optional buys. I think it's a plus that the stretch goals are not giving anything extra. I think it's a plus that they can focus exclusively on the game they wanted to sell and not worry about any of these peripherals at all. But it's only a plus because they've kind of botched it until now, which is, it's unfortunate. I'm still interested in their Kickstarters. I'm still interested in the company. I still wish them well, but they have a bad track record of delivering things right the first time round, and that's why the lack of extra content in this campaign is a plus for me. It is what it is. Additionally, on a side, I'll say that for me, and this is a big thing that you should take into account when you're evaluating whether to back this or not, and my own opinion of this. I generally don't love storytelling games. Hell, the Last Saga is a storytelling game. It has gameplay, of course, but it's a very narrative-driven game, and that's not my personal thing. I like storytelling in games, but to me, a game is primarily about the fun of the gameplay, and not the storytelling. To me, I view it as I'd rather read a book if I want a good story. I'm the guy who plays video games and tries to skip every single cutscene as fast as possible. I like my story in my story. I'm a huge reader. I love books, but I like my game in my game. And I don't mind a little bit of story mixed in my game. I love Seventh Continent, the exploration aspect. It kind of brings storytelling throughout the game, but I'm not so into the reading of a card and saying, Marda woke up on the shore and she forgot her memory and then she saw a rock next to her. I'm not as into that. So know that before I go into the rest of my opinion here. And that really comes down to the fact that the second reason why I'm happy there are not all these extra optional buys is because I think I would not be backing it if there were. I do have that FOMO aspect of wanting it all or nothing, and I think if they had optional buys, I would not be backing it. Even now, I'm on the fence, but I think I will be backing it. And the reason for that is very complicated. If you watch my other video on a Kickstarter roundup, I'll link to that above. I talked about Asonia, which was this deck building game that I thought was overpriced for what you're getting and not a good value proposition. But I was interested enough in the game that I was willing to make it an exception, which I usually don't do. I usually try to stick to whether I think something's a good buy or not. Hell's kind of the opposite, and it equally bothers me. It's a game that I'm pretty sure I won't like. It's a game I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get it, and it will not be enough my cup of tea that I will want to keep it. But it's going to be a good buy, so I'm likely backing it because I'm willing to take that chance. This is a game where you will almost certainly see your money back. Almost certainly. Mythic Games in general, their games hold their value. You are likely to be able to cover your actual cost, your $129 plus your shipping cost, and turn around and sell it for all that, and you won't be out anything. You might even make $30-40 or something. It is a game that will hold its value. I am almost certain of it. And because of that, I'm willing to give it a shot. I will say, let me see if I can find a picture. I love the miniatures in this game. Here's some of them. There are more. There's a big picture up above, but it doesn't really go into detail here. There are links. You can scroll through the campaign. You'll see links. There are more things that you can click on the photos and see the various type of miniature sculpts and whatnot. I love the visual aspect to this world. I think the miniature sculpts are beautiful. That aspect of the game is pulling me in. But watching gameplay videos and knowing the combination of knowing it's a story-driven game, a narrative-driven game, and then watching gameplay videos where I was bored out of my mind, I don't think this is a game I will personally enjoy, unfortunately. That being said, I probably am backing it because I know it's a safe buy, and buying it myself after the fact. If the reviews come out later that this was, oh my gosh, this is incredible, everyone loves it, it really sucks you in. If those things happen after the fact, this will be more expensive to buy after the fact. It'll be easier to buy it now and sell it if you don't like it than to not buy it now, wait for it to come out, and find out whether you do or don't like it. The caveat to that is, if Mythic Games does a 1.5 on this, then that is the exception. If you want to wait for the 1.5 Kickstarter with all the updates, with all the everything and the wait time there, then you'll probably be able to get it for the same price, not more expensive or similar. Maybe not exact same, but similar. So that's ultimately it. That's my opinion on Hell the Last Saga. I haven't made up my mind for certain on this. I am probably backing this one. I am probably in, not because it's a game that I think is personally appealing to myself. For myself, it's a hybrid. It's a beautiful miniatures, beautiful art design. It sucks me in that sense. Gameplay looks like a complete bust for me. But at the same time, because I know it's a safe place to put my money, I'd rather I consider it a bigger risk to not get it and then find out later I want it than it is a risk to get it and it won't be my cup of tea. It won't be my taste. My father's British, by the way, so if I ever say my cup of tea, that's coming from my British side. So that's basically it. That's Hell the Last Saga. It's Mythic Games is... I'm very torn on Mythic Games. I want them to get more Kickstarters right. They produce these amazing, beautiful worlds, but both their supporters and their detractors alike seem to feel that they haven't nailed down the process of delivering something right the first time. It's possible that the lack of expansion content here is a step towards making that a better direction. I mean, ultimately, I feel bad. I know the economics of running a business. If we scroll down to over here, where do we go here? This is here we go. Look at the team over here. Look at the team. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 times 4 28. We have 34 people here. 34 people on payroll. Okay, think about that. Think about what a payroll for 34 people looks like. They may not all be full-time people, but even if half of them are full-time and the rest are part-time, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of games you have to make on a regular basis. I understand the need of the company, but the need of the company doesn't override my own decisions as to what I want to do. Thankfully, like I said, their games hold their value, so I'm still interested. One more thing worth noting, by the way, I didn't make a note of it because it didn't really affect my decision, is this game is Kickstarter exclusive. This game will not be coming to retail officially, so that's another reason why it is even more likely to hold its value. But don't get me wrong, I didn't really feel that was a big point because their games hold their value either way. That's basically it. That's my 2 cents. I am probably backing Hell the Last Saga, not because I think it is going to be a game I particularly like, and even for those that like narrative-driven games, this one looked more boring to me than most from the gameplay videos. I feel that they really did not do a good job showing, because I saw a lot of comments about how those gameplay videos weren't really like the meat of the game. They were kind of intros. So then don't do the intros in the gameplay video that you're trying to sell people on. I mean, pick the ideal scenario. I mean, Cthulhu Death May Die, my favorite scenario in Cthulhu Death May Die is the first scenario that they previewed in the Kickstarter, that they did gameplay things on. So put your best foot forward. Always put your best foot forward. Anyways, that's it. I'm Alex from Board Game Co. I hope you found this video useful. They'll expect another video on Sheol in the next day or two. That's another one that is interesting. Lots of Kickstarters this year so far, and you got to choose where to put your money. Until next time, I'm Alex. Oh yeah, subscribe down below. You can subscribe. You definitely subscribe. Do that thing. Click that button. More great videos before I shake my head. And bye. Have a good one.